Hi, my name is Dante Sasso with the LTV Community Intern Project, and I'm joined by my guest, Al Schaffer. Thanks for being here with me today, Al. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your experience with the ocean and with these wind turbines.
Basically, I've been commercial fishing since 1988. I have 3 vessels now, 2 lobster boats, the Leatherneck and the Exit Strategy, and I have a small dragger, the Miss Alexa. Most of my fishing is done in state waters, although I do have federal permits on 2 of the boats.
Oh. So when you heard about these proposals for wind turbines, what were your first impressions?
My first impression was the first meeting we had, which was, I believe, in the library in East Hampton, and it was kind of a learning experience to see where they planned on going, and a lot of things have changed since then. But I myself don't think wind turbines are a really great idea in the water.
And how do you think these turbines will directly affect you and the fishing you do?
Okay, at this point, we have 5 turbines off Block Island, and I think they are having a adverse effect on the fish. Fish might be feeling the electromagnetic field coming off the cables that run from those 5 into Block Island, and then they run to coastal Rhode Island. And our striped bass population has been a little diverse. It's moved in the last 5, maybe 7 years, and there's no reason why. Small fish might be diverted off by the electromagnetic waves, and the bigger fish that chase them might just be following the smaller fish.
So you think that these wind turbines could have an adverse effect or some unknown effects on these fish's patterns, and this could affect your personal fishing?
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm a lobster fisherman, so nobody knows, and nobody's discussing it, will a lobster cross over these cables if they feel it? They say the cables are going to be buried under the sand by a lot. 6 feet is what I've heard, to 8 feet, but the cables are usually 18 to 24 inches, so you really don't know what's going to come out of them. And like I said, they're not really telling us.
Yeah. And what do you think some other alternatives could be to meet Long Island's increased power demand in a clean way? Are there any other locations or methods that could fit Long Island better?
Absolutely. Although we're a small island, I myself like solar a lot better than the wind turbines. I think that the turbines that are on land, you could see they break a lot, they leak oil, they kill bird strikes, and they're noisy. So the fact that they break a lot is easy because they could bring people in just to fix them when they're on land. They come in a pickup truck. If they take these and put them 30 miles offshore, although nobody's going to see them or hear them, they're going to break out there. They leak oil, they're messy, and how are we going to get out to fix them?
Now, I've heard a lot with Block Island, the turbines they have there, the recreational fishing. Those fishers have done really well as the fish kind of congregate around the turbines. But as a commercial fisherman, is that relationship any different?
100% different. We could talk about mobile gear. Mobile gear is draggers, scallopers, and stationary fishing gear is like a lobster fisherman like myself. We put the gear on the bottom, and you come back and check it later on. So the wind turbines by Block Island are put on a hard piece of bottom, so nobody's going to interact with them, not the draggers or scallopers. But the next ones that they're going to put offshore, they will have an interaction with mobile fishing gear, which is going to be really bad because they're saying that we're going to be allowed to fish next to them, and they're going to allowed to be scalloped next to them, and they're allowed to drag next to them. But the problem is going to be, once that first interaction occurs, the fishermen are probably going to get put out of the area to fish because they're going to say it's too dangerous. Somebody will hang a door up on it or a scallop dredge, and that's just an accident. It could be tides pulling you in a certain direction, 2 boats in a tight area trying to harvest fish, and someone might hit a turbine. So as soon as that happens, and I can give you an example, that the fishermen are going to be the ones that lose. When this first project started and we were in East Hampton, a lot of us got together, and somebody contacted a fisherman in Europe that fished stationary gear, which is what I fish, lobster pots. They were allowed to fish the stationary gear near the wind turbines in Europe. when a crew boat came in and they got the buoys in their wheel and they couldn't get close enough to the turbine, they told the fishermen they had to move. So it was an instant change, you're out of here. So basically, I don't see a favorable future for commercial fishermen and these turbines, whether they be off Block Island and or further off on like Cox's Ledge, the ones we're talking about.
Yeah. We were talking before, and you mentioned Plum Island as a possible spot for some clean energy
Absolutely.
gatherers.
Absolutely. Plum Island was for sale. I don't know if it still was. When we attended the meeting in the East Hampton Library, that was one of my suggestions to the people. They said that the amount of wind that they would get on Plum Island wouldn't be sufficient enough to do the windmills. Well, basically, the windmills don't work when it's blowing less than like 8 or 10 miles an hour, and when they go over 30 miles an hour, the wind goes over 30, they overspin, so they shut off. Now, when anybody that's fished in the wintertime offshore, most of the time the wind is blowing more than 25 miles an hour. So we're putting these wind turbines out there, they're going to be off all the time because they're going to be overspinning.
And you've seen in your experience in the summer that there isn't enough wind for them to get up to that operating temperature, and then in the winter they're
Absolutely.
overspinning.
Summertime is maximum demand in the eastern end of Long Island with air conditioners and everything else, swimming pools. So when being a fisherman, there's a prevailing wind in the summertime too, which is a southwest wind. Southwest, very light. If everybody knows, August is a beautiful month. The wind's not blowing, you're getting bit by flies. The reason you're getting bit by flies is because the wind's not blowing. Well, if the wind's not blowing to the wind turbines, they're not going to be making electricity. So we're going to be forced back to generating electricity through fossil fuels, and or the other solution would be solar panels. I like solar panels, and I think that would be the alternative for energy I would like to see, green energy.
Yeah, and we were talking about how your catch has actually changed pretty drastically recently. And could you go through some of the changes you've seen in the fish's patterns, and what are some of the reasons you think might be causing that?
Basically what I said, well, we talked was striped bass. I'll use striped bass for an example. We used to have a good fishery for striped bass anytime from August right until December. We've lost that. Now we have a spurt of fish early on, and then we get giant fish that hang around Block Island, which is not harvestable for commercial. And then in the past, we would have a run through most of the summer at night, and then all fall it would be excellent. That has completely changed. Reason why, I have no idea. It could be the wind farms at Block Island, like I said before, have changed the pattern of the bait, and the fish are going somewhere different. These striped bass, the populations are still strong, except the fish are offshore.
Well, thank you so much for coming here and giving me some of your time and sharing your knowledge and wisdom of what you've learned with your vast experience fishing.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for watching.